Greetings, Patrick here, uh, and this is Dollar Tree Theater. So Dollar Tree Theater is an ongoing series that is started for our good friend Hobbs, who also has started the Spooktacular. And what we do is we review films that we have gotten for $1.25 or less. So if you paid $1.25 or less, or you were gifted a movie or what have you, or you can watch it on Tubi because that's free. That fits it. Though that's a different series. Whatever. The point is, if you spend $1.25 or less, it counts as Dollar Tree Theater. So I put out a my last one. Yes, I know I still owe everybody reindeer games, but I'm gonna do this one first because I watched it, and so I put out my last group of films, and you guys picked Cheetah's Choice. So that means me and the Cheetah, we get to pick the movie that we're gonna talk about. And since it is Halloween, it is October, we thought we would actually go with a movie that fits. I know, shocker, right? So we're going to talk about 2005's Land of the Dead. George A. Romero's Land of the Dead, the unrated version, the director's cut. So I saw this at the theater when it came out. I went to Livonia AMC and I saw this, and I really liked it. I thought it was badass. Um, it's not my favorite zombie movie of Romero's. I still like the Dawn of the Dead remake. I still like Night of the Living Dead, but this is also very, very good. It's a bit commercial as far as you're looking for gore goes. They do have some gore parts in this, but it is commercial, so they did have to sort of reel it back in a little bit. Um, a little bit. But still very effective, still very good. Universal put this out. And if I'm not mistaken, I think Universal is also the one that put out the Dawn of the Dead remake. So they got into the zombie business for a minute. So this movie, this movie was written and directed by George Romero, and it is keep it in his vein. It's a very so he has a lot of social commentary, a lot of political commentary in his zombie movies, and so no different here. Um, so we open up the film by we meet all sorts of fun people. Um, we meet our cast is led by none other than Simon Baker, who plays Riley Dembo, and he is our hero of this movie. And so let's get started. So we open up the film and we see that Riley Dembo's out there along with his right hand man Cholo, and they are out there gathering supplies. The world has been overrun by zombies, and what we have now are pretty much just city states. Think of the medieval times where they have feudal states, where they would have castles and then a lord around that, and they would have a feudal state. It was all self-contained and self-governed right there. There was no central government per se. There were feudal states. So think of like that. Think of Land of the Dead as like that. Dennis Kaufman plays Paul Kaufman. He is the leader of I guess it's outside of Pittsburgh, so I guess it would be Pittsburgh, though they don't name it by name. But we'll call it Pittsburgh for the sense of this review. So anyway, Kaufman he runs Pittsburgh. They live in a really tall building, and it's called Fiddler's Green. And all the rich people live in Fiddler's Green, and all the poor people live on the outside of Fiddler Green. It's circled. It's they're smart at setting it up. They have two rivers. They have two rivers and only one open area where they have electrified open area so they can protect the city. So they can basically can see whenever there's any zombies coming, they're able to see them and defend against it. And so far it's worked out pretty well, but as you would imagine, without being able to go out there to grow plants or to raise food or any way or shape or form. Um, Pretty much the city is dependent on the small force that goes out to recover supplies, and Fiddler Green is no different. So that's where we meet our friend Riley, Dembo, and Cholo. They are out scavenging. They're trying to find food, medicine. Cholo finds high end items like clothes and liquor for the rich people in Fiddler's Green. Riley's more interested in finding he's more interested in finding medical supplies and food. So as they're scavenging along, they come across and they're they spot a couple of zombies, and one zombie comes out and he looks like he's pumping gas, like he remembers what he's doing. And Riley Metz sees that, and that's when the first appearance. That's the first appearance of Big Daddy, and he comes out and it's almost like he knows what he's doing. He owned the gas station when he was alive. Now his core memories somehow are enabling him to remember that. And not only that, but he's communicating. He barks at a couple of zombies, and they respond. He also spots Riley, who's Riley's looking at him. He also spots Riley, and so Riley's like, "Wow, okay, that's a little different." But they go ahead and they retreat. They don't shoot anybody. They just retreat. Um, so the part of the defenses they do is to get the scavenging is they shoot fireworks into the air, which causes the zombies to stop and stare into the sky. And why they do that, they're able to go in there and snag supplies and what have you. It's a distraction. So unfortunately, one of the team is killed. Uh, Cholo had taken him to go raid some supplies, and he manages to get the rookie killed. This is supposed to be Riley's last run, and so is Cholo's. Cholo's he's figured he's done enough work that he's earned his way into an apartment in Fiddler's Green. You know, he's accrued enough credits, so to speak, to get he wants to live the high life. He's the one who has to risk putting his life out every night. Riley, on the other hand, it's also his last night, and uh, in exchange for his service, he wants to get his car fixed and take off for Canada. He has helped out Kaufman by designing and equipping a armored personnel carrier called Dead Reckoning. So that's his ticket out of there. But when they get back with their supplies, both men are really disappointed. Kaufman turns down Cholo, saying there's a waiting list, and there's no way he's ever going to let him, basically never going to let him see the inside of the Fiddler's Green. He's always going to be in the outside looking in. And of course, Cholo does not like that too well. And Riley, he gets his car that's being worked on by the Chihuahua, and finds out his car has been taken. So he and his right hand, his best friend Charlie, they go looking for Chihuahua to find out where the hell his car is at. So they go inside this underground area where they have all sorts of entertainment going on. Some scrupulous, some others are not, and that includes throwing into a battle with two zombies, a young lady called Slack. She's played by Asia Argento, and so she's thrown inside there to fight for her life against two zombies. Um, now, while this happens, before this happens, Riley is talking to the Chihuahua, wanting to know where his car's at, and then the gunfight breaks out between them, and and Charlie manages to kill the Chihuahua, and then they see what's going on with Slack, and they go rescue her as well. Well, of course, that gets them all arrested, and so they're put in the jail, and doesn't look very good for our heroes until Cholo he carjacks the Dead Reckoning, the armored personnel carrier. He holds it for ransom. He's holding it. He has the APC, and he also says that unless he gets $5 million, he's going to attack Fiddler's Green and knock down their defenses. So he gives Kaufman 12 hours to get it done. So Kaufman, he decides he's going to, fight fire with fire. And who better than the designer of Dead Reckoning than Riley? So he tells Riley, well, you do this for me. I'll make sure you get your car back. Okay, so he goes out there after Cholo. And as they do this, they encounter a lot of, they, and of course Kaufman gives them three guys to support them, and one of them actually is Sasha Ruiz, who plays Manolete. And Sasha Ruiz was one of the stars of Grimm. So I had forgotten that he was in this, but until I saw him, I'm going like, oh shit, it's Renard. so so Riley goes to stop Cholo, and in doing so, a couple of Kaufman's people don't make it back. They're killed. One's actually killed. Monolete is actually killed. Wow, his actually was the best kill. I have to say that. His kill was fantastic. Didn't see that coming. I forgot about it, and where the head is behind the corpse, the headless. There's a headless corpse, and they're going like, how the hell is that? How's he still moving? And then he flips his head over, and he's strung by the spine, and he flips his head over and he bites him. It was very cool. So uh, uh, of course, while they're doing this, Big Daddy has he is he has acquired awareness along with some of the other zombies, and now they know where to go. They follow the scavengers to the city, and they get to the river, and they look across like, how do we do this? And Big Daddy figures out like, hell, we're dead. What? We should be able to walk. So taking a page from the Pirates of the Caribbean, gentlemen, let's go for a walk. And so that's what they do. They all jump into the river, and they walk across to what is supposed to be a natural defense, but they walk up and are able to walk behind the defenders of Fiddler's Green and overcome them. There's a massive fight going on um, between the zombies and the rest of the population, who really don't know how to take care of themselves. They've gotten lax in their security. They don't have very well trained troops. They don't really know what to do. They shoot. They have a lot of ammunition, but they're shooting at the bodies and not the head. So the zombies keep coming. Um, the zombies have an awareness, including using weapons themselves, and in a very telling little clip, there's one zombie that is put on fire. He walks into fire, and he's burning, and Big Daddy puts him out of his misery by shooting him. So he is actually has become empathic. It's a very cool. This is a very well written movie, and definitely you can see why it's a favorite for a lot of people. Um, so the city, Riley, he manages to he comes up to Cholo, and he's negotiating for the truck. And he was wounded by one of Kaufman's men inadvertently. Cholo is, and so Riley says, "Listen, I can get you out of here. Why don't we just take the Dead Reckoning, and we can get out of here, right now?" And but Cholo, he wants his revenge, so that's what he's going to do. He's going to go back, and so he takes his best friend Foxy, and they head on back to the Fiddler's Green. But unfortunately, Cholo was bitten by a zombie, but he's still going to go back as a zombie to get his revenge, and he does with a little help. Um, Riley goes ahead, and he's going to try to help the people first before they take off. So he takes Dead Reckoning back, and he sees that the rich people are just being killed, and they have no chance at all. And so he helps them out by ending their misery by blowing up the attack on them. With he has some missiles, and he uses them, and it looks really bad. It looks like most of the population has been killed. Um, and so they're trying to free them because the human population can't get out because they're pinned in by the electrified fence. But the poor people have actually managed to survive. They're smarter, they're sharper, they're always more on their feet. So a lot more of them have survived. So Dead Reckonings frees them. Riley and the leader of this rebel group, Mulligan, they meet up and they each go their own way. And Dead Reckoning is going to Canada. And as each group separates, Riley sees Big Daddy, and they share a look with each other. And then one of his guys says, "You want us to kill him? And, shoot?" And he says, "No, leave him alone. Don't do anything to him." And he says, "They're just looking for a place to go, just like we are." And so that's what happens as they drive off from the ruined city. They shoot the last of their fireworks off because they don't need them anymore. This is a really strong movie in this franchise, and just like any other Romero movie, he is telling a story of politics here. It's definitely, this is probably the most broadly painted story that he's done. Look at the rich and look at the poor. The separation, and yeah, it's pretty. We get nothing and they get security, and that really, I was watching this and I was listening to this. I was listening to the commentary. And this is a 2005 movie, but holy crow, does it fit like toward the pandemic or what? Right? It's the same thing. It's the same thing. It the rich got a lot better care. Their insurance companies took care of them better. Poor people had to wait longer. It happened that way. They got shuffled around. They didn't get treated fairly. It's like that. And that's why our country is a microcosm of this. You take a look at Los Angeles, you got 75,000 homeless people in Los Angeles, and yet you can go 5 or 6 miles to Hollywood or what have you, and you see several multi-millionaires sitting there, and yeah, it's a commentary. It's like, we'll throw them the scraps. We impose our will upon them. They don't have any rights. They don't have any. They can fight over scraps, or we're entertained by that. And he even said that he mentions in the commentary that he wanted to make like Hopper and him had a conversation about the character of Kaufman, and Hopper said he wanted to play him over the top. And he wanted to play him more sort of like a Rumsfeld, a Donald Rumsfeld. And Romero's like, hell yeah, right on. And so that's what he did. The acting is really good in this movie. It's really strong. It's a lot stronger than you would think for a zombie movie. But like I said, this did have a studio behind it. They spent a little bit of money on it. Spent about $20 million on making this movie. So that's not bad for a zombie movie by a major studio. It didn't make as much money as I think they had hoped for. The budget says 19 million. The return was 47, so that's not that much. In fact, I would dare say this probably lost money. But over the years, Land of the Dead has become very, 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 very popular. I mean, as far as people goes, a lot of people I know, they actually rank this movie second in a lot of lists that I've seen. They've actually liked this movie better than the Dawn of the Dead, both the original and the remake. Like I said, I like this movie too. I wouldn't go that far with my rating. I would have this as maybe number 3 behind Dawn of the Dead remake and the original, ahead of Dawn of the Dead 78. Because I did like the story. I mean, Dawn of the Dead has awesome gore and everything else, and it has a message about consumerism. But I like this one too. I like this one quite a bit. So that's what we watched for Dollar Tree Theater. The Land of the Dead, the director's cut. It runs for 97 minutes. It's unrated. Yep, unrated. It's because they added some extra gore in here. There's director's commentary with George A. Romero. Highly recommend this. Highly recommend it for the commentary. George Romero. There's they're talking about his directing style, and he says that it's all about coffees and cigarettes. That's he's either drinking coffee with one hand or smoking with the other. So it was interesting hearing the actors talk about Romero, but they all loved him, and they all were really enthused to be there. Simon Baker said he had a lot of fun making this movie, and he looks like it too. He looks like he had a lot of fun. All right. Yeah, so this is it. You should be able to find this on secondary markets, eBay, Amazon, what have you. I would highly recommend it. My copy is a DVD. I'm sure there's a Blu-ray out there with this on here. I got my copy for $1 at my library, so there you go. So that's Cheetah's choice for this week. We really liked this movie. We thought it was a strong message, well casted, and a lot of good action. And yeah, all right. So hopefully you like this movie as much as we did. So you can drop a comment down below. If you're new to the channel, go ahead and hit the sub button and hit the notification bell. And yeah, drop a comment. All right, I am way past due on this. It's 20 minutes, 22 minutes. I'm out of here. Thanks so much, and we'll see you for the next round of Dollar Tree Theater. Peace.